It's beginning of January, so it's time for a little bit of plans for the next year. Hi folks, I'm Dawn. This is Tangled Together, where I talk about my knitting hobby and the other things in life that get tangled up in it. So I previously went over all of the things that I knit in 2025, and going through everything that I knit, I definitely saw the improvements and skills that I built on over the course of last year, and looking at that and looking at my wardrobe kind of came up with what is it that I would like to knit in the coming year? What's something that, what are the items that I really feel like I would utilize in my wardrobe that I would like to have a hand knit item to fill that spot, as well as what are the projects that I really enjoyed and I want to do more of in the coming year. So let's dive into it. Top priority for me to do this year is a ivory or natural color, white, still deciding on the exact color, but a kind of classic cabled sweater. Fisherman's cable, think, the Knives Out classic pullover, that kind of Rory Gilmore, that kind of look. I have a whole video actually collecting all of my favorite cabled pullovers, and I think I have settled on, I'm pretty sure I'm going to do the Kara sweater. It's a DK weight, so I think I'll get a little bit more use out of it than necessarily a worsted weight. I saw somebody locally, the owner of Mother of Yarns, knit up, and I saw that on her social media. She knitted up in this really gorgeous green. I was just like, oh, that looks so good. So I'm pretty sure that's what I'm going to do. I haven't purchased yarn for it. That's kind of the next step towards it, but I do want to work through a couple of other projects before I do that. But that is kind of what I'm considering my I really want to do this year. It's my top priority, even if it's not my first cast on for the year. The second thing on my list, I have actually cast on, and I have made quite a bit of progress on it, and that is a Franken sweater. I had seen the Franken sweater by Taylor of Wool Needle Hands a couple years ago when I first started kind of getting into knitting YouTube. I really like the look of it. I had some Surrey that I could use in it, and so I picked up some Knit Picks Wool of the Andes to hold double with it, and let me show you how far I am. We'll say I was not expecting to planning on having this in this video. The reason I've gotten so far was I had to hold off on my book club cardigan because I couldn't find the right size needle I needed. Ended up needing to purchase it to do the ribbing because I didn't have a long enough needle to do the ribbing on the bottom. And then I just have been, this has been flying off my needles. So yes, here is my Franken sweater so far. Excuse the clinking needles. I'm about halfway through the second sleeve. I have one whole complete sleeve. And I am loving this material. So yeah, it's Blue Sky Fibers Prairie in the color Va, held with Knit Picks Wool of the Andes in Everglade Heather. Can kind of see, it gives this really cool color effect. It's reading a little bit more teal on camera. It's a little bit more blue with teal mixed into it in person. I'll see maybe in post-production color correction I can get it reading more the right color, but I'm loving this. It's just flying off of my needles. It is a Aran weight, so that is definitely contributing, and it's mainly knit up on, what are these, 6.5 millimeter needles. So a fast knit, yes. So that's the second thing on my plans that I had put together and then was not expecting to kind of be able to check that off, hopefully fairly soon. Knock on wood that I don't run into any issues with it. I am still planning on finishing my book club cardigan, and I just have the bottom ribbing and then the neckline, and it will be done. So I'm not necessarily putting that on my 2026 plans because I'm so close to, I was kind of so close to being done with it at the end of the year that it didn't kind of make sense to put that on the plans, because felt a little maybe too easy, and that was mainly a project for 2025. Although the Franken sweater turned out to be a really quick, like, check this one off. The third thing on my list is the Staffen Light Tank. So I started this last year I had some issues with gauge and the yarn I was using. I thought I could kind of cheat it to the light version, but it definitely was on the heavier. It said it was a sport weight yarn. It's closer to a DK weight yarn, so I decided to use that for a different project that uses DK. I could knit it up at the DK, and I did actually start, but I didn't like the way that particular yarn looked with the textures. But I do have yarn for this. I'm going to be using some Knit Picks Melisa. I think I've got the right name for that sock yarn. Either in the Amaranth Flower, which is like a really nice saturated purple, or there's, I'm forgetting the exact name of it, but it's like a rosy pink. I think I'm leaning more towards the rosy pink for this. So yes, I would like to have another kind of summer knit. And I think this would be a really good pattern that kind of is a like dress up, dress down, depending on everything else I'm wearing with it. It could be a little bit more casual, or I could throw on like a pair of nice slacks or a skirt and dress it up. Okay, so the fourth thing on my list is actually using the yarn that I did originally cast on a Staffen in, and that is making up a Anna Cordes sweater. I'm actually going to do the T version, just with the quantity of yarn I have. I don't know if I could do the long sleeve, and also it's a, is it silk merino, or is it bamboo merino? It is a like more summery yarn, so I think doing the t-shirt would lend itself. And I would like some more kind of like spring, fall, warmer weather knits that aren't just sweaters and cardigans. And I like this pattern. It looks like it's going to be fun and a kind of a little bit of a mindless, like once you get into the repeat, the flow of the pattern, it looks like it will be pretty easy to follow. So I really enjoyed the color work that I did this last year. I did the catnip pullover, and then I did a couple of color work hats. And doing the color work hats was kind of a little bit of practice for the next thing on my list, which is I want to knit another color work sweater. This one I would like to have more of that like winter Christmas sweater type vibe. I don't want to do a Christmas or Yule sweater specifically. I would like it to be a little bit more winter so that I can get some more wear out of it. I also am somebody who, like, the handful of like Christmas sweaters I do have, I wear throughout January and February because those are the colder months when I actually need sweaters more so than like November and December where we are. Like, we had like a day just before Christmas that was like 70. So that it happens from time to time, and then it dropped back down to the 30s. But yes, so I would like to work on that. I don't have a pattern picked out. I have a number of color work patterns kind of set aside. Hey, maybe if that's something you'd be interested, I can do another like pattern category roundup video on some of those like winter color work patterns that could lean into Christmas or could just be generic winter, depending on, I feel like sometimes it depends on the color choices you make with that. So yes, I would like to do that at some point this year, but that is kind of maybe in the end of summer, fall kind of, it's down the list. I really enjoyed doing the catnip sweater, and I get a lot of use out of that because it's a fingering weight sweater. So the next thing on my list is to do another fingering weight long sleeve sweater. This one I would like to have a little bit more of, maybe do a drop shoulder or something that has like a set-in sleeve, maybe a raglan, but something that's kind of like an everyday type sweater, but a lightweight everyday type sweater. Probably a single color, maybe something with like a little bit of texture, like maybe something with like a waffle stitch or something like that to just like give it some visual intrigue that it's not just stockinette. Also, that is a lot of stockinette in fingering weight. So yes, that is something else on my list. Maybe I'll try doing a what is ranunculus? Maybe I'll try doing a ranunculus. Although I don't really want to do circular yoke. So yes, if you have any good suggestions for fingering weight kind of everyday sweater, leave them in the comments. Next up on my list is another colored cardigan. I have gotten so much wear out of my Ava cardigan. I'm really looking forward to having the Book Hub cardigan in to have finished and be able to start wearing. But I think I would like something maybe in like a warm color, maybe like a rust red or like a burnt orange even. I do have a like burnt orange cardigan that's store-bought. That's starting to like pill up and it's way too oversized. That I wear quite a lot because I do like the color of it. So maybe something in that. I don't know if I would want to do something with cables again, or if I want to do like just a very basic plain thing. Maybe that would be a good one. I have a couple of like half fisherman rib cardigan patterns kind of set aside for someday. So maybe that would be a good, add a little bit of texture with that color. Hi, screensaver. Definitely that's kind of something on my mind because I get a lot of use out of cardigans. Really good layering things, especially like working from home, being the like, oh, I'm cold, throw this on. Like, I actually maybe get less use of them now that I'm working from home and I can control the temperature than I would if I was working in an office. But yes, I wear cardigans a lot. I like cardigans. I like how they fit and the functionality. So definitely adding another one would be good. Who's calling? Potential spam. Well, thank you. Caller ID. I will not answer that call. I also think that I would like to knit like a pair of socks for myself. It's been a while since I've knit a pair of socks and I've kept them. I actually recently accidentally felted a pair of hand knit socks. I forgot they were knit out of yarn that wasn't supposed to go in the dryer. I'm not buying sock yarn that can't go in the dryer in the future just because I just don't think enough to and like don't want to have to be too precious with socks. I would like them to be wash and dry. So yeah, I think I would like to knit at least a pair of socks for myself. Probably end up knitting another couple pairs of socks to gift to family members. So yes, not any one particular pattern set aside for that one. And then the final thing kind of on my list of like my like make 9 for myself for the year is maybe some slippers. I've been seeing the sailor slippers that have been going around and I wanted to try felting. And that seems like maybe, I don't know, is that a good pattern to start as a like beginner felting? It seems to be from the amount of people who are doing it. And I think that would be fun. And if it works out, hey, maybe a really good, like, make a few more of those for gift knits. So yeah, because I've gotten a couple pairs of slippers over the years, and I think especially if I made myself slippers, I would really appreciate them. Now, we do have a couple more projects. These are not things that I want to knit for myself, but like I definitely want to make a cable sweater with like white yarn that has like the multicolored nibs in it that like I've seen some that it's tweed yarn where the tweed bits are multicolors that I think is so cute. Or maybe a white with some speckle yarn. But knit a like classic cable sweater for my daughter. I think she would really like it with the like rainbow speckles or like bright pink speckles or something like that. Like add a little bit of fun and whimsy, but also that would be a piece that I feel like would get a lot of use out of. She could wear it over top of her school uniform, wear it around the holidays, and I think would just look so cute. And then like we could both have our like white cable sweaters and kind of be matching without being too matchy. And then I also want to make her a color work sweater. I'm starting to work on a like pattern chart, color work chart. That's where I was looking for, with Triceratops. So I'm using the Dinosaur Doodle deck from Pacific Knit Co. As kind of the main motifs, and I'm just kind of using those to help plan out the chart for the sweater. I think I'm just gonna use, honestly, probably just the Monday sweater as the base of it. I have some DK yarn. I think it will work up really well into a nice color work for her. And yeah, I think she would absolutely love it. Another chance to practice my color work skills. Maybe work on that in this like winter, spring, that she could wear like next year, as a good, like, continue building my skills before I do a full like multicolor color work sweater for myself. And then I have promised to do a sweater for one of our dogs, for Ripley, the little black one who tends to bounce around. She's downstairs taking a nap, I think, right now. Because she gets so cold in the winter. We discovered she does actually like sweaters. And I did start a sweater on our trip to go see some family for the holidays, and got probably about 3/4 of the way through it and ran out of yarn. I was just using some yarn, leftover yarn from my stash, and failed at Yarn Chicken. So I'm going to frog that out, but I have some other yarn that I think actually will hold up better than the first yarn, and I know I have enough of that because I have a lot more of it. So I will be making her a sweater. I'm making everybody sweaters. And then kind of the final thing that has been bouncing around in my head for like knitting related plans or goals for the year is I would like to go to a knitting retreat or knitting festival this year. There is the Knitting by the Sea that my local guild, the Tidewater Guild of Knitters, puts on every year. I would really like to go to that. I'm going to have to see how some personal family things are going over the next couple of months, to like figure out if that's still, if I'm actually going to be going, but as long as things work out, as long as things behind the scenes work out, I really would like to go to that this year. It's just like a weekend little retreat, in the Outer Banks, in a hotel by the sea, and get to knit and take classes and hang out with folks. I think that would be really fun, something I've never done before. So if that doesn't end up working out, I might look at just going down. They do have like a Saturday, like market. So I might just go down for the day to go to the market, or see if there's other knitting festivals that I could go to. Like, I know Maryland Sheep and Wool is up outside of Baltimore. I don't know exactly where. That's in the late summer, early fall, I think, and isn't that far. And we do have some friends who live up in the Baltimore area, so that's a possibility, maybe. If you know of any other knitting related festivals, especially in the coastal Virginia area, please let me know. I would love to go check them out. I'm kind of just in this last year have been getting into more of the like local knitting, since I've been making, just before I started making YouTube videos was when I kind of started getting into more of the like in-person knitting meetups and stuff like that. So yes. And then hopefully again, our local yarn stores will do the Dogwood Fiber Trail. I had so much fun with that last year. I would love to do that again this year, maybe with another group of local friends. So there you go. Those are my 2026 knitting plans. And I like to look them as plans and like, what are the things I would like to do next year? But plans are going to change. Like, I do have some specific patterns on here, which I didn't do last year quite as much. But I'm not gonna beat myself up at the end of the year if I haven't made these exact patterns. If a pattern pops up that I see that I'm like, oh, that's actually really perfect. That's exactly what I want to do. Like if a absolutely perfect cabled pattern pops up before I start the Kara sweater, I'll not do the Kara sweater and do that one. So, cause like life changes, and I think it is nice to go into the year with plans or intentions. I don't tend to do resolutions quite as much as like, what is it that I want to pay attention to this year and like focus my energy on this year, rather than being like, I'm gonna make a new me. No. I'm pretty happy with who I am. I just, there's room for improvement and things that I can definitely focus on. I would love to know, what are your plans for the coming year? Are you doing any projects that I've also mentioned, or like, are those on your plans, or have you already made them? I'd love to know how they went. Like, if it went really great, yay. If you made it and made some adjustments. I know with the book club, a couple people commented on some adjustments that they made that I was like, oh, I kind of wish I had seen these comments before I started on them, because I had already like cast on and was partway through when I posted the video talking about my plans to make it. So yeah, I would love to know. And then, we can all share our Ravelry cues and favorites are going to explode over the next couple of weeks with all of the, like, here are my plans. Here's what I knit up. But that's fine. Like, it just gives us kind of some more options to look at and choose from. So yay. I really hope that your 2026 is starting out kindly, that you are I've been embracing like maybe slowing down a little bit, allowing myself to rest. It is still winter, so the time of year where nature is resting. So I've been leaning into like finding moments to pick up my knitting, and because I find that very restful. So yeah. All right, I'll see you next time. Bye.